My alliance in MFR has a very colored and checkered past. Let me tell you, with my alliance leader, what we've been through and where we're going. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Kigerr here, and I'm joined by my alliance and cluster leader, Bud the Stud. What's going on, man?
What's up, Kaig?
I'm doing
Kaig.
good.
Call
uh,
you Kaig? That's weird.
I mean, whatever. K K is the most common one I get nowadays. But
I feel like
I brought Bud on because we had a very interesting thing happen on the Hydra server. Literally, we're still in the process of doing it today, and uh, him and several of our cluster alliance leaders really made this happen super smooth. And you got, we have a bunch of drama with the game right now. Let's talk about the Hydra drama. And I want Bud to tell us from the start what's going on Hydra.
yeah. I think you've kind of recognized it before, Kiger, is the whatever's happening with the content in this game. It seems like from a political standpoint, people make their own
Oh,
content.
they do,
Uh,
like pushing all the leaderboards and whatnot.
right? Yeah. I think that that's what sets bar different from a lot of games is like it seems so incredibly competitive compared to other games that I've been in, and kind of the like merges and the changing of the guard and with leadership and stuff like that. It's like there's a whole like MFR politics downloadable content package that we have or something.
Mm-hmm. Because
um
our the bakery, as it's called, has four different alliances, which is massive.
right. Yeah, and it's kind of fluctuated a lot, over time. Like there have been definitely highs and lows of the bakery. Um, at when we first kind of got started in the game, um, we were one alliance, we grew into a second alliance, and then a third, and then a fourth, and then uh, it kind of went backwards a little bit,
So
and
walk us through that. So how did the bakery start?
sure. So, funny thing, like when I first joined MFR, I I had no idea who the alliances were in the game or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually joined a group called Apex Predator SIG when
Oh
I
yeah.
first started the game. And you're familiar with that because that was your old alliance. But I was actually only in there for a couple of days because I didn't know like this was a serious alliance. I just kind of clicked on the first alliance that I saw and
So
requested to join.
Apex was ran by a guy named Apex, and he just invited everyone who was near the top of any leaderboard anywhere, and just invited everybody, and then just kind of let the cream float to the top. Is kind of how that alliance went.
But yeah, so I didn't realize that there was like a 24-hour login period. So I got kicked out of that probably after a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And and it was for the best because that's kind of where I found Aunt May's cookie, which is our Prime Alliance now. But he was a guy that was seemed very personable on the server. I thought that the name was hilarious, Aunt May's cookie, and I was like, well, I got to join up with this guy. So ended up joining up with Scuba was his name, and ended up joining with him. Uh, Became an officer there, and then I started kind of building all of our graphics and stuff like that. I have kind of a background in graphic design. So building up our Discord, building up our recruiting flyers, Really just kind of doing a whole lot of like behind the scenes stuff. Never really wanted to be in the spotlight or anything like that. And so, kind of building all that stuff led us into creating our second alliance, and then ultimately our third alliance, and then our fourth alliance. And so we were getting pretty large. And then, I mean, like I said, I never really wanted to be that formal leader. But of course, in typical MFR fashion, kind of some drama happened. Scuba went off the deep end. Some people left, and then I kind of took over as leader after that. So
And that was before the merge?
that was before the merge. Yeah.
All right, let's get into
So
D-Day, the merge.
right. Yeah, yeah. So when the merge happened, this is why like I think that kind of having this setup kind of sets us up for success in any situation is that we have 150 people to pull from. So even if like 30 people were just like, yeah, I don't want to be part of this alliance anymore, well, that's still 120 people that we still have to work with. So worst comes to worst, we just get rid of the third and fourth alliance, even maybe potentially get rid of the second alliance, but we'll always have a strong number one alliance.
Now here's the issue. A lot of clusters kind of fall into. I see this a lot in other games like Strike Force and other things, as they usually use the second or third alliance as a feeder, if you will. How has the bakery tried to go against that?
Yeah, so initially, we kind of we thought about doing that. And then, I just think and this is going to sound so cheesy, but like I really think of us as like a family, as a group. Like we do a lot of things outside of the game in terms of like movie nights and like game nights. Really interacting on the Discord. We have like multiple channels that we just talk about different things. So really trying to build a community. And so having a feeder alliance doesn't really work that well when you're trying to build that sense of community. And so what we have set up now, and pretty much what it's been, is we have different alliances for different styles of gameplay. So, AMC on Mace Cookie is obviously our most competitive alliance. Like we are there to win. We're obviously going to have fun, but primarily we are there to win. The requirements on that are pretty strict. Mary Jane's Cookie is a more semi-competitive. So, and I think they're about to grow into a competitive
Yeah, I was gonna say
alliance as
calling
well.
it semi is kind of roots them a little bit. I think they're just like the B team, if anything.
Right. Yeah, no, they're definitely going to be over the next week or two. They're going to be making their way up. Um, But yeah, so they were kind of at the time they were semi-competitive. They're probably going to be a little bit more competitive, but they're also a little bit more lenient in terms of restrictions or requirements. So whereas AMC, like you don't meet the requirements, it's pretty much like a one strike, and then the second time it happens, you're probably gone. MJC, it's a little bit more lenient with that. Um, and then we had Daily Bugle AMC, which was our casual alliance. Now that's going to become a
The
semi-competitive
semi casual,
alliance.
yeah. The semi competitive, yeah.
Yep. So we basically had three different alliances for different levels of gameplay. The very competitive, the semi-competitive, and the casual. And that seemed to really work well for us. And you could kind of move in between as, your interest in the game uh, fluctuated. And that seemed to work well for us.
So how was it for the bakery with I think you had two alliances at the time when it happened. So how did your cluster handle the merge?
Yeah, so the server merge was interesting because we definitely had to really rebuild there because what we did was we said, in order to remain at the top of the leaderboard, we had to have like all of our best players in one alliance. So essentially what we did is
You
we made
had
an
to
agreement
feeder.
between we did. We basically we had to do that temporarily, just to make it through the server merge. Because if we weren't kind of still at the top of the leaderboards, it kind of hurts recruiting, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
so, especially coming into the server merge, people see all these top alliances, they want to come to them. So
Now it's
out
even
of the
worse with the alliance buffs.
right, exactly, yeah. So. We wanted to be at the top of the leaderboard, so we had people from the semi-competitive alliance who were kind of on that border of competitive end up coming to AMC, and we kind of reshuffled some things around. We still kind of kept with the same structure, but that secondary semi-competitive alliance kind of went down
Mm-hmm.
a lot in rankings. And it helped us to propel Aunt May's Cookie to the top of the leaderboard. So yeah, it was a very temporary thing, and we basically had to begin rebuilding from there.
All right. So server merge happened. You got your situation kind of figured out, and then there's always kind of been this rivalry, right? Between, in my eyes, AMC and Calamity, as well as MJC, the secondary alliance, and Trash Pandas. You want to tell me a bit about that?
Sure. Well, I feel like there's rivalries on every every group, because I think the one thing like to just kind of toot their own horn here is like we take up a lot of players on the server, and like I recognize that when you have three alliances or four alliances, you're taking up 150 to 200 players in the game. And so a lot of people are not too
Especially
much of
when
a
the
fan of
whole
that.
server has under 2,000.
Right, right. So, kind of recognizing that is, when we first started, we had rivalries with a group called Immortal Dojo,
Mm.
and then had rivalries with Calamity, had rivalries with Trash Pandas, but yeah, so kind of. I think every server maybe has this is there's always kind of that group especially when it comes to like Dark Zone and stuff like that, where you can actually go in and kill other alliances,
Mm-hmm.
is people generate those rivalries. So yeah, recently, our rivalry had been with Calamity because we were kind of going back and forth between,
Two and three.
well, I'll say they were pretty much taking two, but we were kind of hot on their heels a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so. Do you want me to kind of jump in and tell you what happened next?
Well, as far as that, no. I want to talk a little bit about how MJC has been doing. Like I said, with the Trash Panda stuff, like, is it just them in Dark Zone, or do they have something a little bit deeper? I want to get into the drama.
Right. Yeah, so I think that again, I think it all kind of comes back to recruiting. Like it's all very tough to recruit right now. And so, when you see MJC like being successful and having all these players and everything like that, um, I think that's kind of where a lot of the drama stems from. Like you said, like Dark Zone, uh, never really have a. I don't think we really have too much of a problem with Trash Pandas. In there, our biggest problem is in game,
Mm-hmm.
in Dark Zone. But I think that in the past, like we've approached Trash Pandas about like merging, and they've said no, and so it's kind of that back and forth. I really respect them for how long they've kind of held out, because Trash Pandas kind of fluctuates between like they'll be down as far as seventh or eighth, and then they'll just keep at it.
Right
And
now, they're holding number two during the shuffle.
right during the shuffle for sure. Kind of hurt me to log in and see us down in the rankings, but I know what's coming. So
Now,
um,
we said that Aunt May Cookie, which is currently number three, and Calamity were going back and forth for number two and number three. On the boards
right,
right here in front of us, we see Aunt May Cookie at number three. Where's Calamity at?
they're with us. Yeah. So we've talked a lot about like merges and everything. This has been kind of one that I've really wanted to get going for a while. We kind of came really close to merging with Calamity a couple of months ago. I think that this is, it's been predominantly in game, kind of dominating the number one leadership spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that we're going to go out there and beat them now, but I think that it's now going to be a little bit more competitive. And I think that Calamity recognized that as well, is that in-game has pretty much run the server since server merge, and
Well,
we were kind
in
of
the past couple weeks, when one of our leadership had a bunch of family stuff going on for literally 5 ish weeks, so it was hard to coordinate our 2 or 3 raid times, and so that was tough. But once he came back and we were able to set things up, they had to literally buy second place. Which I
yeah,
mean, that's fine, but we made them have to pay for that second place buff, right?
right, right. But no, by no fault of their like, I mean, they were still beating us in alliance rate. I mean, it was very close. But yeah, like you said, like once we started coordinating it a little bit closer, or a little bit better, I think that it became a little bit that gap closed a little bit. So, um, but yeah, so we merged with Calamity, and so now there's been another reshuffling. Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and so we now have four alliances again, whereas we had three before, because we're basically taking in pretty much all of Calamity. So, we'll now have Aunt May's cookie, Mary Jane's cookie, still being kind of competitive, semi-competitive, but like MJC will be a little bit more competitive. Daily Bugle AMC will become semi-competitive. My goal is to get them into the top 10. And then Gwen Stacy's cookie will be our new casual alliance as
So,
well. So.
so you told us about Trash Panda and how they're kind of like on the odd, like they're around. But you mentioned Dojo before. Did anything of note happen with Dojo to make them not an issue for you guys anymore?
Uh, yeah, I don't really know. Oh, I know what happened with Dojo. That's right. Yeah, so essentially what happened with Calamity and what happened with Dojo is, if you've played the game, you've probably heard of in-game. But basically what in-game does is it takes the best players, across the server. It doesn't um, really like. I mean, it's just very focused on getting the best players in one alliance. So, what they did was they made a deal with Dojo where they said, okay, you'll become our sister alliance, and we'll kind of help you. We'll send people to you. We'll kind of build you up and everything like that. In exchange, you'll send us your best players, and we'll kind of just swap players back and forth. Well,
And do you
that
know what's going on with that?
that did not happen. So in-game basically acquired their players, and it was kind of good for a little bit, and then in-game kind of said, okay, no, we're I mean we're done kind of coordinating with Dojo. So they basically just took their best players and left them kind of high and dry.
And you said that's
Um,
kind of
co-
what recently happened with Calamity
right, so Calamity kind of did the same thing. Is they approached Dojo and I
in game.
or yeah, sorry, approached in game and said, we're looking to merge. Like, can we make this happen? Like, you send us some people, we send you some people, stuff like that. And I guess there wasn't really like a formalized process there. And so some of the higher players from Calamity went to Endgame, and then like with Dojo, like it was kind of like it was good for a little bit. With Calamity to Endgame, it was just like no. Endgame just took Calamity's players and that was it. And so there was a couple people that went to Endgame that didn't like that, who are now leaving
Yeah, because
Endgame
they
and
thought it
coming.
was going to be a shuffle, right?
Right,
They thought, okay, I'm going to go over there because I'm one of the top performing guys in Calamity. So I'm going to go to in game, and then they're going to send one of their lower performers over to us.
right,
But when it
and
came time to pay the dues, never happened.
right, right. So,
Which I do
um,
have massive respect for the. We're not going to mention any names here, obviously, but I have massive respect for the people that went to Endgame, guaranteed number one every week, guaranteed stage 20 by Wednesday, and then decided to drop that because of morals. I have high respect for that.
right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like it's a game, and we all want to have fun and everything like that, and we all want to be competitive and everything. But there's a lot more to it. I think with MFR, I think that's one thing. We can talk about like the state of MFR and how people feel about the gameplay and stuff like that. But I really think that MFR helps build like a good sense of community. Um,
Well, it's even
People are very
goes further than that, right? Because like, okay, a bunch of the content creators right now are talking about MFR is dead, MFR is dead, MFR is dead. As you said, we kind of make our own content, but also, as you said, we're playing with like 200 other people in the bakery. I'm sure if I want to play something else, I have a pool of 200 people that might want to play with me, right?
right. Exactly. Yeah, we're all really about building that sense of community and trying to really go beyond MFR. So like not just thinking about kind of that first and second place in the rankings, like really thinking about like, how is this move going to impact my players having fun? Like how's this going to impact their gameplay? Are they going to, I really want them to kind of stick with us long term because, every game is like, even if MFR ended tomorrow or years from now, like I really enjoy the company that I've been with, and I want to keep that going and keep that sense of camaraderie,
Which
across any game.
I think you've definitely done that with some of your in Discord stuff, right? With tags based off of things you've done either in the game or on Discord. You do movie nights, game nights. We even did D&D a couple of times.
Right, right, right. And I want to say like none of it would be possible without like kind of the leadership team that we have. Moonstone, who pretty much runs all of our MFR activities, has done a phenomenal job. Jay Darkson does a lot of our like spreadsheeting. He was pivotal in kind of getting the Calamity merged together. Like he
Oh, the
spreadsheeted
spreadsheets.
the crap out of this. I mean, like, and that was the thing is we really wanted to make sure we had the correct data to know, like, hey, this is why you're being moved here. And honestly, like, we've had nobody complain about moving anywhere. which is crazy to me because
Yeah,
we're
think about
moving
that,
people
guys.
everywhere.
We shuffled around 200 people in 4 days. There were at least 12 people that don't respond and responded with like 6 hours before the stuff had to start moving around, and no hitches.
Yeah, I mean, it
Still
really
going
comes
smooth.
down to how much you really put into it, and they've definitely put a lot into kind of making sure that this merge went smoothly. So, big shout out to those people, everybody who kind of assisted with that, and the rest of our deputies as
Of
well.
course, man. Well, thank you for
Yourself as well,
coming.
Kiger. You were very pivotal in this as well. You were the one talking to the in-game people to the in-game Calamity people to get
Yeah,
them
the
to come
ones
over.
that
So.
yeah, they reached out to me saying, "Hey, I don't like what's going on with the stuff over at in game. The stuff they told us didn't work out. Is there room over there?" And then I brought that to Jay Darkson and a few others, and they're like, "Well, I mean, yeah, we can make this work." And bam, here we are.
Yeah,
And the plan
definitely.
is
Definitely.
AMC, the Aunt May's cookie, is going to take second place, and MJC, Mary Jane Cookie, is goal is for third place. Now, the last thing I wanted to say was kind of the. I mean, I don't think we're giving anything really away here, and that is when you're down here at Alliance Raid. If you look at rewards, you have Alliance achievements, right? The uh, clear stage 20, you get all the stuff, but obviously everyone knows these personal achievements. Uh, Endgame is doing real awesome with, they're clearing stage 20 by Wednesday, but that's on the back of 5 people. If we're able to have all 50, clear several of these stages right here, the personal things, that's 4,000 contribution, 5,000 contribution. Once you clear 20, you're done. If we're able to, everyone clear, uh, you know, hero alliance hero number 11 700k, that's 14 19k that per player that they're just not getting, right? Which I think that's we might be able to dethrone the people that have been in charge for since merge.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But for sure, I definitely want to lock up second. I want to lock up third, and then with Daily Bugle, I want to kind of bring us into
Top
the
10.
top 10. So we'll see. We'll see how things go.
Well, you told
I'm
us
excited.
about yeah, you told us about the other two alliances, Trash Pandas and what you call it, Dojo. Were there any other notable alliances?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, I feel, I don't know how it is on other servers, but I just feel like on Hydra, it is very competitive. Like number one kind of just blows everybody else out of the water, right? Like in-game blows everybody else out of the water. Number two and number three, Calamity and Aunt May's Cookie, like they're kind of back and forth. Um, and then after that, it's kind of like everybody is super like close together. They're
A
super
toss
bunched
up.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not in the game right now, but like I think that it was like Dojo. Uh, there was
rankings. We got Dojo, X Force, Illuminati, Older Avengers, Venom, and Pulse Ultra.
yeah, yeah. I think kind of after that, like six or seven, it kind of tapers off. But like those that little group there, they're small, but they're active, and so they keep it kind of close, and I think they're very content at where they're at, which is all well and good.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
what's important.
it's all kind of bunched up there.
Well, thanks a lot, bud. I thought this was very interesting, especially seeing as we just were literally in the middle of this merge. I just thought back of, man, it's really been a journey with because I wasn't with you guys in the beginning, but I've always been around Aunt May Cookie. And since the game launched, I've been around you guys, so I know of you guys, and it's like, man, the homeward bound here, right?
Yeah, no, it's been a journey for sure. And I'm excited to see where it goes, regardless of what happens in MFR. But I think people just need to take a step back and just make your own content. I think MFR is going to be around for a while the content might slow. That's your time to kind of step up and make your own stuff. So.
Of course. Now, guys, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of the bakery's journey, as well as if you want to join the bakery because they do other games. I'll have their link down below, as well as let me know what your journey has been in MFR. Till next time, guys.